Welcome to the Clarksville Now candidate forums for the November 2024 elections. I'm Editor-in-Chief Chris Smith, and today we'll be speaking with candidates for Tennessee State House District 75, covering the west side of Clarksville, Montgomery County. The candidates have been given the questions ahead of time so that they can prepare. The candidates in the race are Jeff Burkhart and Allie Phillips. Joining us today is Allie Phillips. Welcome to the studio, Ms. Phillips, and let's get started. So tell us a little bit about your qualifications to run for this office.
Yeah, so what I feel makes me qualify for this position are my lived experiences. I'm 29 years old. It's my first time running ever. I'm not a career politician. I'm not independently wealthy. I grew up in a small town in Ashland City with a family that didn't have a lot of money. I was a single mom for the first 3 years of my daughter's life, obtaining my bachelor's degree while working 3 jobs just to get by with a newborn. My husband and I, now we live within our means, but we can't get ahead, and I feel that's a struggle that many Tennesseans face. I come as a new face, a fresh face, a new generation of new ideas that I feel our legislature has desperately needed for a while now. My constituents, my community, they deserve a representative that understands what it's like for them to live through the day-to-day struggles that they do. And I'm one of those people because I live through the exact same struggles. Truthfully, I want to bring common sense, kindness, and compassion back to the legislature. While I'm out meeting people, I want everyone to feel seen, heard, and valued because I don't think that their representatives, our lawmakers, are paying enough attention to them. My hope is that if I'm elected into the state house, I'm able to bring a voice back to all of those that have felt their voice has been silenced for far too long. And at the end of the day, I'm here to represent all and not just a few some.
Thank you. Yeah. So let's talk about some of the issues in the race. Probably Clarksville's biggest growing pain has been the lack of road infrastructure, and most of the problems are on our state highways. What would you do to ensure that we get adequate state highway funding?
So I'll tell you, when I'm out knocking doors, that is a big thing that comes up a lot is traffic, is our roads. So I am new to this, so I don't know 100% of what all a state rep can do to make a difference. But what I do know is there's a couple options. We can either, one, raise taxes on our residents, make us pay more into this infrastructure fund so we can get more improvements. Or I brought some notes about this bill that the Biden administration is pushing. It's called the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. And what that would do is I would push for accepting this federal funding because it would improve the lives of millions of Tennesseans and create good paying union jobs that are vital to our economy. So what this would do is over the next 5 years, it would formula funding alone bring $5.8 billion for highway projects. It would bring $302 million to replace and repair our bridges. $630 million for public transportation. Tennesseans who take public transit today spend nearly 68% of their time commuting. That is time that we could put back into our day-to-day lives, time to spend with your family, your kids, your dog, whatever you have at home, just time back to yourself. $88 million to expand electric vehicle charging. And we can also apply for a $2.5 billion grant to fund more. But I know here in Clarksville, we don't have a lot of electric vehicle charging stations, and I've heard that complaint come up time and time again. So being able to have electric vehicle charging stations to help with our residents that are using fuel-efficient vehicles to be able to charge, I think is huge, not just here in Clarksville, but across Tennessee. Something I want to bring up is the gas tax. I received a thing from the county clerk the other day about renewing my tags, and I have to pay an extra $100 because I have a hybrid. The only problem is my hybrid specifically, does not plug in. I use gas, so I'm still paying a gas tax, but I'm being charged an additional fee because it's half electric. I don't think we should be punishing people for being fuel efficient. I think we should find another solution to increasing those funds into our infrastructure without it coming from the residents themselves.
All right. Thank you. Another issue here, Tennessee, as you know, has banned access to abortion, but there have been calls to allow some exceptions. Do you support any exceptions to that abortion ban, and why or why not?
So I'm actually one of the women that had that real life experience of the abortion ban here in Tennessee. Last year, I was 19 weeks pregnant and found out my pregnancy wasn't compatible. My doctor told me staying pregnant posed a significant risk to my life and health. So I had to leave the state to get the healthcare I needed because I didn't qualify for the life of the mother exception. I wasn't sick enough by their standards. So for me, exceptions are kind of a slap in the face to women, saying we get to decide if you're sick enough to receive this healthcare. It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful to the women and girls in our state. For me, I don't like exceptions. It's just kind of like dangling a little bit of something above our heads, saying that they still have control. For me, I would advocate for lifting the ban altogether because I trust women to make the medical decisions that they need for their bodies. I trust our doctors to give proper medical advice to women and patients to say, hey, this isn't going to turn out well. Here are your options. I don't think lawmakers should be making those decisions. It's interesting to me how once someone's elected into office, overnight they become doctors, teachers, lawyers, scientists. They just automatically know what's best for everybody, and that's not the case. We know for a fact that abortion is life-saving healthcare, and I am a true living testament to that. I wouldn't be here in front of you today if I didn't travel out of state for that care. But at the end of the day, our lawmakers are currently making decisions on something they know absolutely nothing about. So I wouldn't push for, to start off, I would push for exceptions because we do have a supermajority. But at the end of the day, I think we need to lift the ban altogether and allow women to make the choices they need to make.
All right. Thank you. While Governor Bill Lee's school voucher program died in the last legislative session, it's likely to come back this time around. Do you support school vouchers, and why or why not?
I 110% do not support school vouchers. They like to paint this pretty picture of calling it parent choice. And essentially what it does is it gives a family about $7,000 as a voucher to bring to a private school. Now, the problem with that is private schools do not have to accept your children for any reason. So like, for example, I have a 7-year-old autistic daughter. I could use that voucher, go to a private school that I think she would do great at, and they could deny her for the simple fact that she has a disability. There's nothing I can do about that. They don't have to follow state standards on equality or not facing discriminatory action. Along with that is there's not a single private school in the state of Tennessee that has a tuition that's $7,000 or less. So you're giving a little bit of help to get there, but these families are going to have to make up the rest of that cost. There's also no public transportation for these private schools, so families are responsible for getting their child to and from those schools. In reality, it's a coupon. It's a coupon for the families that are already paying for their kids to be in private schools. I don't think we need to take our public funds from our public schools and put them into private entities. Our governor has over $1 million sitting in a fund right now waiting for this bill to pass so he can use it. But that over $1 million could help our schools that have broken AC units, schools that have mold growing on the ceilings. It could put resources into our classrooms so teachers aren't coming out of pocket year after year to have what they need to have a quality or a good school year and teach the kids a quality education. So no, I would not support the school voucher program. I believe public money should stay in our public schools.
All right. Thank you. All right, Ms. Phillips, are there any other issues that you wanted to particularly talk about or any closing comments?
Sure. Yeah. A couple things that come up time and time again when I'm out talking to people is affordability, the cost of living, housing, the fact that minimum wage hasn't increased in a long, long time, actually ever. Well, since I've been alive anyways. And I think it's an important topic to remember that our state House is responsible for things that happen in that capacity. So they could put a cap on how many big corporations buy up all the housing and just let them sit because they slapped a coat of paint on it and now they're charging $100K more. We could put a cap on landlords that increase rent year after year when people renew their lease. And the problem with that is there's currently no law stopping them from price gouging people out of their homes. We're pricing Tennesseans out of their homes, and that's unfair. The price of the cost of living has gone up, the cost of housing has gone up, but our paychecks have not. We are still sitting at $7.25 minimum wage. Based off of a report I read, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the source, but it stated that the average Clarksville person needed to make at least $20 an hour with no kids, just by yourself, to live comfortably here. try finding a job that pays $20 an hour to start off here. It's near to impossible. So we have Nashville prices for housing and goods, but we don't have Nashville pay. So I think we could increase the minimum wage up to $20 an hour. And that could help families stay here in Clarksville and not have to make that commute to Nashville, but also help improve the quality of life. But at the end of the day, we also have a representative down in Nashville, Afton Bain, who proposed abolishing the grocery tax. That's something that would put money back into Tennesseans' pockets when they're at the grocery store. That's something I would advocate for. Anything to help families save money here and there makes a huge, drastic difference. So I advocate for the lower, middle, and working class, and that's what I plan to do in the State House.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today and for taking the time to discuss these issues. Absolutely. And thank you for stepping up as a community leader. A reminder that Election Day is November 5th and early voting begins on October 16. Be sure to vote.